what is it, 8:30 a.m. EST, and we are live on YouTube and in our private chat. So the way this works is that if you have questions as we talk about things today, go ahead and ask them. Those who are in our private chat, or if I can tell they are one of our members, but they ask questions on YouTube, I will go ahead and have to handle those first. But if you are just anybody who's come to visit us, feel free to ask questions with regard to charting, trading, things like that. Of course, we don't give investment advice, but we talk about the nuts and the bolts of trading. And by the way, big day tomorrow. The Gorilla, he's going to be on today at 7 a.m. Now, he usually will come on. Well, he's here every day, usually at, when I say 7, I meant to say actually 9 EST. Gosh, I sent a message earlier to my group. I said 7 a.m. I think I meant 9. Yeah, so I get confused because I am in Mountain Time, and I mean, I mean East Coast time, and not just those kind of things happen. Whenever you are going through time zones, moving back and forth through time, like Marty Mac mother freaking fly. All right, so all of that to say, let's see here. Let's go ahead and throw up the QR code. What you're going to see here is a way to come check out who we are, what we do. We can talk a little bit more about that later, but zap that QR code or just go to the website, www.algofactory.tech, and you can find out about us. In the meantime, we're going to hop right in to the content, as it were. Of course, if you don't know, we help people become traders, right? We help people eventually, if they're interested, well, not even eventually, it happens pretty quick, to build a trading plan. And that trading plan is kind of just typically the way people trade, the way they've traded for, without all the crazy technology and computers. And that is called an algorithm, right? So an algorithm is merely just something that you put together as far as how you trade. It's conditions based. It's anybody who trades successfully is trading using an algorithm, whether they know it or not. So all of that to say, now, of course, at one point we can help you, figure out how to get that coded and hard coded so that it trades while you walk away. And that's kind of in the future of this whole thing. But in the meantime, we help people who are not even traders get started doing that. So we're going to take a look at the markets here. Some data did come out this morning, but I don't think that it had very much effect yet so far. So let's go ahead and hop up on the screen here. We had the Empire State Manufacturing Index data just come out about 5 minutes ago, 6 minutes ago. And looks like the data was, let's see about this. Okay, so it's diffusion index based on surveyed manufacturers in New York State. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. All right, so supposedly the data coming out kind of reflected a relatively strong economy, which is supposed to be strong for the dollar. And it looks like the effect was pretty muted, pretty quiet on the market. So let me zoom in on the screen so we can take a look at what happened in at least the Forex market. And again, if you're new here, we do take a lot of looks at the Forex market because, look, if you want to be a trader, there's a few places you can trade that are going to, that are just going to be have a lot more opportunities. For me, it's Forex. That's where more opportunities are. And that's, trading the euro versus the dollar, or the dollar versus the yen, or, talking about sovereign currencies, right? Of course, trading cryptocurrency, if you have the kind of setup where you can trade crypto derivatives and go short, which that can be found more easily than you might think, even if you're in an area that might make that not very easy. But again, that's all up to you. But you can use our methodology to trade anything, stocks, ETFs, whatever your game is. If it has a candlestick like you see on the screen, which pretty much anything tradable does that's worth trading, then our methodology can be used. Okay, so muted effect. I'm looking at the chart right now, and the last 5 minutes had barely any effect on the count on the charts. So, and I'm talking about the data. I actually got into a trade last night, right about midnight. That was it was good. I won a little money. Actually, I think it entered around, and now that I'm looking at it, maybe around 10 or 11. And yeah, I made a little money. I got out this morning while it was up high, just knowing that announcement was coming, and I didn't want to, have that taken away from me. So I got in before all this kind of choppy choppiness right here in the last 5-10 minutes. But again, it looks as if the news is not having a major effect. By the way, Gorilla is going to be coming on here in the next 20 minutes. That's what I said earlier, that the Gorilla was coming on. I meant to say at 9, so he's going to be on. Let's see here. Okay. By the way, for those who are already in the trading world or just about to jump in, there is some good news here. TradingView does have a it's called the European sale. So TradingView is the software that we use for trading and charting, and they have a sale right now. Let's see if I can find the notification for that. Let's see. Oh, those are not those kind of alarms. Let's see if it's this. What's new? Let's see here. Just kind of looking at the TradingView stuff. Okay, we got futures from the London Metal Exchange. Okay, that's cool. Okay, BME, CoinDesk. Okay, not seeing anything about their per contest. Okay. Not seeing any data about the discount, but I sent one to our private group. I think it was an email or something. And that European sale is coming. I think it's already here, and it's like 70% off for a subscription. It's already cheap. TradingView, just your basic subscription's already very relatively inexpensive. But hey, saving 70% on something is saving 70%, especially if you're like me and you get the premium, which costs, I don't know what it costs these days, $400, $900 a year, something like that. And it's going to go up, by the way. Usually I've noticed over the years that TradingView prices go up as crypto goes up, and crypto's in a very compressed, kind of low priced and very low volume time. So the TradingView is probably going to be pretty affordable right now as compared to a year from now. It's quite possible that the crypto market is going to go up hard next summertime and keep going up for the next maybe year or so after that. So if that happens, there's a good chance TradingView is not going to be very cheap. But whenever you're with TradingView already and they want you to renew, they tend to give you a pretty good deal. And then a little trick to that, by the way, is if you threaten to quit TradingView and not renew, they may give you a discount. That's a little trick. So let's take a quick look at some other charts here. Maybe we'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll start with gold. We'll move over to Bitcoin here in a few minutes. Gold is still mobbing upwards. Probably has a lot to do with the international kind of situation there, aka Israel. Whenever wars break out, you can see that prior to the war breaking out, I did predict gold, or I forecasted gold to be slowly heading up, but that looks like it was exacerbated. You should look back here. This was on 11 October. Actually, it was 11 October when I predicted it to rise, and I think Israel happened either that day, later that day, or the next couple days. So obviously gold took a big hike, but it did get stopped at this structure. So you can see here that prior to, let me see, what was this, on 20 September as well, on September 1st, gold kind of made this double top, really reaching a height of 1950. So far it has stopped at about 1930, just below that, and has retraced. And so far it's not retraced very far, and I could tell you algo wise, I think it wants to continue upwards. I mean, we'll see about it. Yeah, I think it wants to go up. It does, but it might go a little more slowly. It just depends on how things unfold overseas. So right now with gold, there's kind of up and downward pressures on it, right? There initially were just some downward pressures overall on a higher time frame, but everything going on in the Middle East is causing some upward pressure. So I think that might continue for a little while at least. So if I were to forecast this move, let me see, this is on 3 hour. It's on the 18. If I were to forecast this, I would probably kind of even look at this similar where price is trying to break out of this 1950, almost move this up here, and then, maybe eventually make its way up or not. It might break down from here. It depends on whether or not things cool off in the Middle East, because this is going to push gold up. This action, I can almost guarantee you that you can see from the price action here that October 8th? No, let me undo this to find out. October 11th is where I originally started my stuff here. Okay, so looking at the charts, I can almost guarantee you that the Israel thing happened on the 12th of October. I think that's right. But what's interesting here is you can see this move up. It might be somebody knew something. It might not be. I mean, the price action's not that abnormal heading up like this, but it did really head up hard before Israel happened. But then again, it doesn't look that different to other moves up, really. So I'm not going to say anything like I was thinking. But certainly hard move up starting on the 12th. And again, if I look back in the news, I bet you that's when Israel started, because you can tell with gold with those kinds of things. Oil is probably going to be similar, but we're going to move over to Bitcoin. Then we can take a quick look at oil. I don't see any requests in the messages for any charts at this time, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue to go over charts. If anybody has a chart that they want to see, just let me know. I guess today will be Monday morning chart day. Before we even move on to Bitcoin, we're going to look at Bitcoin here in a few minutes, but I am going to go over the events of the week. So let me get the Bitcoin chart ready. And when I say events, I'm referring to economic data that's going to come out. So, we're going to strong move up in Bitcoin too. Look at that. Looks like I had a higher time frame. Look, we'll take a quick look at this since it's up. All right, so you can see that on this chart, I had actually predicted a move up to 29.7, and there's a real good chance it'll go back up there. We'll look at the chart. Okay, sorry. I was going to look at something else before I looked at the chart, but now we're looking at the chart, and I have a prior prediction based on what's called the Elliott wave. Those of you in the advanced course know more about that. So what we'll do is we're going to take a look at the liquidity for Bitcoin at the moment and see if there is any liquidity up at that 29,000 range. Sorry for the yawning. Those of you who know anything about my personal life know that sometimes I don't get sleep. And it's not for bad reasons. Okay, so no wins there, no love on the spinning wheel. Let's go ahead and take a look at the liquidity. Okay, so no, not a lot of liquidity at 29,000. I mean, there's no reason for price to go up in the immediate liquidity reasons. I mean, it might go up to like 28,000, but nothing up at 29, which is where the Elliott wave would complete. Now there is some up here at like say 30,008, 31,000. 31.6. So, up in like the low 30s, you can see that there is liquidity, and price could spike up to grab that, because that is within the range of this Elliott wave. I mean, if we were to get real persnickety on this, we could kind of move this diagonal line a little bit. But either way, it does meet kind of like, say, 29.7 is that area, but there is liquidity in the low 30s. So, you could see price jump up a little bit higher and then head down. November, in this part of what's called the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin, November is when Bitcoin tends to bottom out, and we're still in October, they call it. 9 out of 10 Octobers have been bullish for Bitcoin. So we can see a spike up to the low 30s. And still along this kind of line, and do it before the end of October, or even into November. That's very possible to see that happen. I mean, even along the current trajectory, Bitcoin tends to pop up harder, so it could kind of pull some of this stuff and then boom, like that. That's very possible. And do that before the end of October. Not that it needs to do it before the end of October, but I'd say within November, I'm expecting to see anywhere between, say, 15,000 and maybe 22,000. I'm expecting to see price in this area. I've been very public about that all over Twitter. So, to see price head anywhere from here down lower than this, like say 15,000, anywhere in this area, I would expect price to end up. And then what'll probably happen is over the, after that, price just kind of, starts to hang out and build a bottom. It might come up right away a little bit back into this low 20s, and then start to make its way out of the wintertime. So we might see a bit of a Wyckoff kind of situation here in the beginning of the year, and then a little pop up in April, and then as May is the halving, maybe a little bit of action, and then a drop back down in June, and then by the time we see August, probably price will take off. Okay, so we've seen Bitcoin, and this is my basic forecast. It's very generalized forecast. It certainly is not investment advice, but this is what I see price action doing for for next year and for the next couple months. All right, so, and that's just based on the 4-year cycle. If you look back at Bitcoin, it has done the same thing based on the 4-year halving cycle. Let me take a drink here. I got a raspy voice. Okay, so that seems to be not fixing the raspy voice. So I'm going to go ahead and mute the microphone and just hawk up a fat loogie. Just kidding. No loogies. Hold on. All right. So now that we've looked at the Bitcoin chart, let's go ahead and take a look at the calendar for the rest of the week. Today, later in my afternoon, I'd say very early morning in Australia, New Zealand, there is some data coming out, New Zealand's CPI. And that's early for them. I think New Zealand, I think that's like, 6, 8. So I think that's like 5 a.m. for them. Their CPI comes out, if I'm not mistaken. It might be a little later, might be 6 or 7, I don't know. But, and then the Aussie dollar at 6:30 p.m., which is going to be around 8:30 a.m. their time, depending on which, might be around 9 or 10, depending on what do they have? Do they have provinces over there? I don't know if they have, not states. I think they have provinces. I want to say that's like 9:30 or 10:30 a.m. New South Wales, but I don't know exactly. Whatever the case is, you get to get more information about their monetary policy. So if you're messing around with like New Zealand or Aussie dollar tomorrow around that time, or later today if you're in the US, then you might end up getting some surprise movement in their price. So what I do, just for those who might be new to the to this stream, is when it comes to news like economic data being released, and this is over at forexfactory.com, which is just a great website. There is a new, there's actually a different solution I'm looking at for this right now. And all this economic data does also, it's on TradingView and it comes on the chart. But I'm just so used to looking at this, and the actual data is really easy to reference on this. So I'm just kind of stuck on Forex Factory. But I've been told by some really good traders that there are better solutions, but this one's works for me for so long. I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to check it out, guys and gals. The British pound on the GBP, the European Open. There's going to be claim it to count change, which I believe means unemployment. Let's see here. Yeah, change in the number of people claiming unemployment. Okay, so like if this number goes up, then you're probably going to see the pound. I imagine it's going to be like the US dollar, where bad news is good news. So if the claim account change goes up, how do we say that? Yeah. Okay. So bad news is good news for stocks. Bad news is bad news for currency, I guess. I don't know. Let's think about it this way. Claim account change means if that goes up, if there are more unemployed people, then they're going to assume that cuts are coming, which is going to weaken currency, right? I think that's how they're doing it over there, just like they're doing it over in the US over here. And of course, if currency weakens in the UK, then anything that is traded against that currency will go up. For example, like in the Forex market, the dollar would go up, GBP USD, so this would go down as a pair. The British pound would go down against the dollar. So if you're trading like the cable GBP USD, then you would expect for things to go down at that point, right? Let's take a quick break from that. I'm going to see if I have any trades available now that the data, I don't think there's any more data today relevant to the US, so I'm pretty sure there is not. We just looked at it. And I am looking at some pretty bullish signals on here. Let me reset the chart. Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, I'm gonna have to change the resolution here just temporarily to take a trade. Okay. All right, my browser's freezing up on me. Give us a moment, all of you out there in YouTube land. I can't even refresh my browser. That is extensively annoying. Let's see what happens when I do it on the top here. Oh, okay. Reload. Okay, now I can refresh it. All right, good. And yeah, definitely want to take this trade. Well, maybe I don't. I think it's going to carve up. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, that was the move. All right. Give me just a moment. I'm going to map out a quick trade here. What I don't like about what I'm about to do is I'm going to put a small amount on this trade because, look, the entire impulse really, if you look at it from a higher time frame, the larger impulse is going to be like this, right? But then we're going to see structure in the way. Right now, there's structure, so I got to wait. I can't take this. There's structure in the way. I wanted to go long on this. I do, but I think what I'm going to do is wait for a pullback because even if I want to take this long, it's in the middle of an extension, and this is a choppity market, not a lot going on. Almost guarantee you that price in this is going to pull back before it goes up, right? And then as it hits the structure, it may suffer a pullback, and then of course I got to deal with that. So not very good odds on that now with the structure in the way. Okay, all right, well, good. We assessed it. We go back to the economic assessments and wait for those to be broken. I'll take a look at other pairs here as we move into the private show. Okay, so let's go back into the weekly data. Got a few minutes left. Okay, so Tuesday, if you trade the Canadian dollar at 8:30 EST in the US, you're going to end up probably getting some major price action here around 6:30 a.m. because your CPI is coming out. Same with the dollar at that time. So tomorrow at 8:30 EST, there is going to be some pretty big action. So that'll be right as we start this show. So as soon as that price action is resolved from the initial shock in the news, probably not with the Canadian dollar, but with the USD pair like the euro, or I know a lot of people don't like to trade the euro, but I do. I've tested it on how to trade it. There's a lot of liquidity grabs. That's advanced talk for those of us who are beginners. But the euro dollar, EUR USD does have a lot of, it's got some quirks, but if you know how to trade those quirks, you're good to go, right? Maybe I might trade the Swissy, the USD CHF might be the better way to go. But either way, we'll be looking at this price action to add volatility to market. Just wait for the news to get past us. And then later that day, we have more Aussie dollar RBA Bullock speaks. So the Royal Bank of Australia, that's like their Jerome Powell, if I'm not mistaken, and that'll move markets quite possibly for the Aussie dollar, but maybe not for that much else, or at least not very much. I don't trade the yen, the yuan, I mean to say, the Chinese yuan, but there will be some data comes out at 10 p.m. EST, so a little before the European Open, a couple hours. So if you're trading the yuan, watch out for that. It's about industrial production, which their economy is heavily based on industry, so it may have some significant effect. Again, European Open CPI, this will be big. European Open on Wednesday, you will probably see some price action there. Mavbet in the chat, good to see you. Thank you for chatting. We actually had a few people watching, just kind of lurking today, which is fine by me. I love to have people on. Don't need to hear from you, but I like to hear from you. And then Aussie dollar in their morning, more employment data coming out. So the Aussie dollar is going to have some action. A lot's going on at 8:30 EST this month for the USD. Unemployment claims, which is a weekly number on Thursday, so we can always expect that on Thursday. But Thursday is going to be a big day, so I would probably be out of any trades by noon EST because Chowell, I call him Chow, Fed Chair Powell is going to speak. And, people really dissect every little thing he says, and markets can move based on that. But, I don't know. I think we just kind of have like higher for longer. That's kind of the That's going to be the talk. Yeah, thanks, March. Appreciate it. I was talking to March last night pretty late. Talk to March all the time. Got Lisa Gray in the house and Brad King just chilling. I love it. Thanks for chiming in, everybody. Do appreciate it. Friday we have the GBP, and that's going to be again at the European Open. So European Open and US pre-Open, or like say an hour before the US Open, are going to be pretty full of data this week. And that's good. It adds volatility to the market. But I personally, now I can't give you investment or trading advice, but I personally will make sure that I stay away from any pair that has data at the open or even before the open. Those British pound. Anytime any of this hits the news, there's always a chance that if you are in a trade, you could get knocked out of it if you're day trading. Now, if you are in a swing trade and you're already in it and you're decently in a profit, you could possibly risk sticking in that. Now, again, you have to make your decision. I don't give investment advice, whatever. But if I were in a swing trade, I might hang on to it if it's a good chart. You might get a little wild price action for a minute, but if you're at least decently in a profit or not anywhere near stop loss, there's a decent chance that data is not going to cause a problem. It'll just get wacky and it'll go in your direction. It might even go nicely in your direction if the news is in your favor. So there's really no way to know that until it happens. So either way, that's the week. And we did get a look at Bitcoin. So I'll probably create a clip and put up later on YouTube and on Twitter about the Bitcoin analysis. And for the moment, though, we're going to hop over to the private show. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up on the screen the QR code if you're interested in joining us, which March, I think you said you wanted to come join us. So we'll look forward to seeing you in there. Look, this $49.99 a month, that's not going to last. And we're going to be hiking that, probably doubling it. And it's just a metrically based thing. So once we get a certain amount of members, we're going to hike that up to, I think, 100, and we might go higher than that. So understand that for the basic tier of service, if you get in at $49.99, you will be able to keep that price as long as you do not let your membership lapse, I mean to say. So, hop in, get that grandfathered rate. This is worth, our competition charges over $300 a month. $300 is actually, they charge $299.98 or something, for one particular site that I know. And they don't give what we give at all. They give a lot. They're worth $300, but they don't give what we give. They're not live as often as we are. So we do a lot for our members, like a lot. So all of that to say, take advantage of this price while you can. Even if it's $100, take advantage of it. It's worth it. Incredibly worth it. All right. Love you all. Gonna hop over and I'm gonna take it away because the Gorilla's not here. Although V the Gorilla is gonna show up any minute now. He said he'd show up at 9 EST today. So